So I want to introduce you all to Victoria Garrick Brown and Aubrey Gavallo. They are zooming in from Los Angeles, and I hear that you guys were inspired by Eckhart and my 10-part digital series of A New Earth. They host their own podcast series on A New Earth to bring it to a different generation, a younger generation. It's called So Much to Say. So hi to both of you, and tell us, how did this come about?
Hi, I'm Victoria.
Aubrey.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. We first started reading the book, and we only got through about 3 chapters until we needed a breather.
It's dense.
It's very dense.
We felt moved and changed.
It took us a few years to then feel like we had grasped just the awareness of ourselves versus ego to then finish the book and go further into the material. And when we did that, we would call each other and we'd go over the chapters. And we thought, why not record this so that other people who maybe don't have a friend who wants to do the work can listen and feel part of it.
And as far as the title, I would call Victoria after every chapter and just say, I have so much to say. And she was like, there it is. There's the title of the podcast.
So much to say. So what have been the biggest ahas for you? Both.
Well, actually, Oprah, the quote that you just read is the one that I was joking when Chris Evans was on. That's the one I would tattoo. Literally, it helps you accept the moment as it comes. But there was actually a part that we're still stuck on, and we're hoping Eckhart could help us better understand it. It's on page 141, and it says, "Nothing ever happened in the past that can prevent you from being present now. And if the past cannot prevent you from being present now, what power does it have?"
Yeah. And as a personal example, my dad passed away when I was young. And while I'm in a great place in my life now, that is something that I hold with me every day. And I'm curious how you hold presence while also still holding space for that person and that sort of loss.
Yes. So you can remember the past, but at the same time, be in touch with the deeper dimension of presence as you remember the past. You're not the past. The memory of the past does not completely absorb your attention. Some of your attention remains within you as the awareness. You are the awareness of this. This memory lives in you, and you honor this memory. You're not completely absorbed in it. You're not completely consumed by it. That's also the case if, for example, somebody close to you dies. Of course, there is mourning. There's deep sadness, and usually after somebody close to you dies, sadness comes in waves. It comes and goes. That is something to be allowed, and that's fine. But in between the waves of sadness, you can come to a place of acceptance, go deep within. So there's peace even. And then even when a wave of sadness comes, there's still peace underneath the sadness. I experienced that when my parents died. There were tears, and at the same time, there was an underlying peace. There was an acceptance and a peace, and they both coexist. But does not exclude the fact that you are mourning. What you need to be careful about is that the mourning does not develop into something pathological, because you could be, if 2 years later you're still weeping a lot, then this sadness has taken possession of your mind. You cannot stop thinking about this person that passed away. You're continuously reviving the memories, and the memories are very painful now. All the good times you had are now considered as very painful memories because they're all gone. And then mourning can become pathological. So you have to be careful that there's a time for mourning, and then there's a time also for letting go eventually. Then the peace prevails rather than the sadness may still come in little waves, but then peace begins to take over. You live in always 2 worlds. This world, I sometimes call it, you're a human being. You're a human, that's the person, that's conditioning of the person, that has the reactions of a person. But many humans don't realize yet that there's a being dimension, which is the awareness. And so you have one foot in the human world, where you are a person conditioned by the past, and you need to have a certain amount of compassion with that entity also. that character that you are. You have some compassion, but you are more
That's your human part.
Yes. More fundamentally, you are the being. And so the realization of the beingness of you, of the deep I am, that is the spiritual realization. But the important thing is this being dimension, as opposed to what many so-called spiritual people believe. They think they believe that at some point they're going to become enlightened if this or that or the other happens. But it never happens in time. Spiritual awakening is not an achievement. It's a discovery. Because everybody already has that dimension within themselves. You don't need to get it. You don't need to achieve it. You only need to discover what's already there, because it's something.
It's a part of you being a human being.
And being is the essence of you.
Being is the essence of you.
Yeah.
That is why we're here.
That's right.
Is to discover that.
Yes, that's the discovery of all the ancient traditions.
I don't think we're doing a good job. I don't think we're doing such a good job.
We are a work in progress. So we're not a finished product. And that's the good news. Because if humans were a finished product, it would be very sad.
Yeah. Okay. Eckhart says each one of us is a work in progress. Our spiritual development is far from finished. We are on the way to awakening, but we haven't arrived yet. Being awake means reaching the deeper dimension of ourselves that is higher than thinking. Both Buddha and Jesus describe this heightened awareness. Eckhart says we will find it when we relinquish our normal state of consciousness, which he describes as relentless, compulsive thinking.
So we're a work in progress. And all the ancient traditions point to the very thing that we're talking about, the being underneath the human. This is in esoteric Christianity, is discovering the Christ within.
Yes.
As your essence identity. In Buddhism, they talk about the discovery of your Buddha, your innate Buddha nature. Every human has that Buddha nature. Or in Indian spirituality, it is the Atman, the divinity within you. Brahman is the external divinity, and Atman is the inner divinity.
And so unhappiness no longer has a place with you is because you, Eckhart Tolle, in this lifetime as a human, have focused more on your being than your human part.
Exactly. That's it.
I got it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I know you all have so much to say.
We do. And
Thank
one
you
last
so much.
thing
Thank you.
we wanted to share with you guys is that we have a group chat. We text our aha moments with our friends, and it's called An Eckhart a Day Keeps the Ego Away.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that.